Hi, and welcome to vlog number 96. This is the vlog where I talk about Quarterly Stories, which is my graphic novel that I hand write, hand letter, and hand ink, and then hand to you. Hopefully someday in print, but until that day it's available serialized online at quarterlystories.com, where you can read it all the way up to page 49, which I currently finished. And so you can check that out for your reading enjoyment at quarterlystories.com. I'm currently working on page 50. I'm also in a car wash. So, Quarterly Stories is a very personal story to me about faith and mental illness, and this is the vlog where I document the process and the progress of creating that graphic novel, on top of being a full-time art director, a full-time husband, and a full-time father. Yeah. I had a pretty good week, pretty productive. Basically, I got page 49 completed, which always feels good. Feels like getting a page done is just like the right amount of fuel in order to keep going. So that's something I'm really excited about. I also made probably one of the weirdest YouTube videos I've ever made, because my son is really obsessed with these like alphabet videos on YouTube, and I realized I had done my Quarterly Stories alphabet chart, which is a print that you guys can get at my Society 6 shop, which I'll have linked down below in the notes. I already had the art for it, and I thought it would be really fun to edit kind of faux alphabet video. And for those of you who don't have like a toddler, these are like videos where they just go through A goes ah, B goes but, and stuff like that. So I basically did my own version, and you can see that in my previous vlog number 95. So I think that would make this vlog number 96, which is insane that we're that far in these vlogs. Saturday I basically spent most of the day scanning the page, piecing it together, and then editing a vlog. And then the next day I made that crazy alphabet video, and also managed to thumbnail the next page. So I'll show that to you right now. Now I'm gonna have to take photo references for this next page and just proceed moving forward with the comic. So part of what I'm doing with this vlog, for those of you who are new to it, is this vlog is kind of a way for me to keep myself accountable, to make sure that I'm always moving forward and spending at least 30 minutes a day on my comic. Some people are doing this as like a 100-day challenge, started by my friend Kevin Cross, where you take 100 days out of the year and you spend 30 minutes each day on a comic, and then you document your progress, either using YouTube, Instagram, or a blog, using whatever it is that you have at your disposal to kind of show your progress and hold yourself accountable. And I'm kind of doing the 100-day challenge, but instead of 100 days, I'm pretty much trying to do this like 365 days out of the year, which might be a little overly ambitious. I'm gonna allow myself to basically miss on vacation days. Fortunately, I don't really take a lot of vacation. So that means pretty much, hopefully about 365 days out of the year, I'm going to be spending a little bit of time every single day on my comic. It's a habit I've built throughout the years to just kind of carve away at this monster and hopefully get it completed. And I'm pretty excited. I've started thinking about formats for printing it, so I've looked into that a little bit yesterday and was really encouraged. I am kind of curious, what do you guys think would be a fair price to pay for like a 96-page black and white graphic novel? If you guys want to let me know in the comments section, because I'm trying to kind of figure out pricing, and I realize it's been a long time since I've had to really price a book. So what do you guys think would be like a fair price to pay for like a 96-page black and white graphic novel where everything's handwritten, hand-lettered, hand-inked? You guys would be willing to pay if, you know, that book came out, etc. That's one thing on my mind, is like I'm starting to get a little bit over the halfway point in the graphic novel, and so I'm starting to think about like the realities of like getting this thing out and printing it. And to be honest, I'm a little nervous and a little overwhelmed at the idea, but I've got time. I mean, I do have plenty of time, because these pages do take a while. And I've noticed like some of them will take, you know, a couple weeks to accomplish, and some of them take like a month. That's not a month of me just focusing solely on those pages. It's just with this carving out about a panel a day, depending on how many panels there are, you know, on my comics. That can make the pages take quite a while to do. And then all the preparation and research and stuff like that for each page. So I know I'm not the fastest cartoonist in the universe. I know there are a lot of cartoonists out there who kick out a much more steady page rate on their pages than I do. But I'm feeling like I'm having a pretty good good turnaround on these pages. So I am thinking probably a year from now, like we're almost at vlog 100, so I'm imagining by the time I'm at like vlog 150 or maybe vlog 200, if I keep vlogging at the rate I'm vlogging, then I'll probably have this completed graphic novel. And I'm pretty excited about it. So it's kind of getting to that point where it's really juicy. The other thing I like about this is each chapter has kind of a part where I really look forward to getting to it. Like in chapter 1, it was this part on the Burnside Bridge where I got to do these really challenging drawings of the Burnside Bridge in Portland. And it was kind of like engaging and interesting because I was doing these kind of abstract things with swirls and water and all sorts of stuff. If you guys read Quarterly Stories on quarterlystories.com, you'll see in chapter 1 those points. Chapter 2, actually the part I was looking forward to the most was the introduction, where I was doing a little shout out to Back to the Future Part 2. Some of those early panels were like the most fun to do, as well as like these panels that I did where I was exploring typography a little bit with like a snowy mountain factory. And if you guys have read chapter 2, you'll know what I'm talking about there as well. And also just enjoying the switching of styles. For chapter 3, I think what I was looking forward to the most was these pages where I was depicting depression as this creeping, you know, cloud of dust and stuff like that. Also some funnier jokes that are kind of in there, and an introduction of new characters, which is always fun because you're drawing something new. And then I believe we're in chapter 4 right now, and what I've been enjoying is this kind of splicing. I'm overlaying multiple themes over each other, and you'll see what I'm talking about a little more as we get further in. So yeah, so that's pretty much where it's at so far. But the neat thing is I'm finally getting to that point in chapter 4 that I was really excited to draw, which gets a little bit into the beginning of my relationship with my wife, and also starts, you know, hopefully delving into panic disorder and what goes behind that and stuff. And if you guys didn't catch that at the top, like, this comic is going to really delve pretty deeply into issues of faith and mental illness pretty heavily as a topic. And the reason I leave it kind of short by saying faith and mental illness is I hope you guys will sort of check out the comic and see what how deeply it gets into that, and where it's going to go with that, because hopefully the comic will narrate that much better than me talking about the comic. Ideally, you know, when I have this book out, I won't need to be there to sell it. Like, I'm hoping that, you know, the book will stand on its own two legs to be able to like sell itself in a weird way. So part of that is having its own story that I hopefully don't have to overly explain to the audience, but will explain itself. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm heading to work. Pretty productive weekend, also very exhausting weekend. I mean, I don't know what it is. I think it might just be the age my son is at. I know I talk about being kind of exhausted a lot and tired a lot, and I think that's a byproduct of having a kid. The age that my son is, it can be pretty exhausting, but at the same time, it's also super rewarding. So I don't know, you take it or you leave it, right? And I'll take it. However, I'm also really tired because I'm working on these personal projects on top of being a full-time art director. And for those of you who've worked in-house or do work in-house in a creative department, you'll understand how taxing that can be, because creative departments aren't necessarily like 8 hours a day and then you clock out and you're done. There's usually a lot of overtime involved in a creative department, and that's something I try to avoid like the plague for my team. Like, I don't want to make my team have to work overtime, but at the same time, like, there are times where we hit a massive rush, and in order to fulfill orders, we're gonna have to work overtime. It's also like highly stressful work as well, although it's also creatively a lot more fun than most other fields I can think of. It's also, creativity on demand, which is, it's exhausting sometimes. So sometimes when you're going to a job like this, you get home and the temptation is to just like call it quits. Like, you did your, you clocked in, you did your hours, and to kind of call it a day. But I don't want to do that. So today I'm going to go to work. I'm hoping to, get through the workday, and then when I get home, hopefully take photo references for the next page. It's fun to get to the point where you're getting into kind of some of the more juicy parts of the story, where it's got some real heavy character moments. And that's been another interesting thing, is like, I kind of start this comic off with a bang for a severe character moment. And so it started with a lot of very interesting character development, and then kind of had to ebb out of that to give a little background and history and stuff like that. And so now that it's getting back into the kind of the more juicy character stories and character arcs, and getting a little deeper into other characters, it's getting kind of exciting to write again, and exciting to work on. Not that I haven't been excited on the other stuff that I've been working on, but what's interesting is it's kind of like I feel like I'm paying my dues to get to these points in the story that I really want to tell. And there's pretty much no point of the story that I don't want to tell. But if you think of it like you're telling if you're telling somebody like a story, just like, I don't know, let's say you got in a car accident or something, and you're telling people at work about it, you're really like giving them enough background to kind of build the tension and make it interesting, so that when you tell them about the car crash or whatever it is that happened, like, I don't know, you got pulled over or something like that, when you get to the point of telling them about that, they're going to be invested and interested, and hopefully feel a little bit like you did when you got pulled over or got in the car crash. Like, they're going to have some incentives and some background information to kind of have to be able to kind of empathize and go through that experience with you. And so that's kind of where I'm talking about getting, is like, I feel like I've done a lot of the build up, and now I'm going to be able to tell the action part of the story. That's pretty exciting. It's a good place to be. So that's my hope, is to get that done, and then hopefully get this vlog up. And we'll see if I can keep consistent with it, and just hopefully be smart about my use of time so I don't overdo it, and hopefully keep these things entertaining for you out there in the vlogosphere. Is that a word? Vlogosphere? That's it. So basically, I'll check in with you guys after I've taken my photo reference. In the future me will hopefully have done that, and then I'll show you, whether I stuck through with that today. So I will see you guys then. All right, I'm back home. It's after work. Benji's asleep, and I managed to get the photo references taken for page 50 of Quarterly Stories. All of these guys, those are all my photo references, and they're all taken and ready to set up, so I'll work on page layout tomorrow. Thanks to those of you who've subscribed, liked, shared, and commented on my YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's really easy. You just click subscribe right down here, or it's here. I always forget which side. I think it's on this side. But it's a nice way to say thank you and also keep updated with this vlog and with Quarterly Stories. Thanks, and I will see you guys next week.